And our special edition and our coverage of today's presidential activities, where President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi witnessed on Sunday the inauguration of the Adli Mansour Transportation Hub in Cairo. We have more details in this report.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi witnessed on Sunday the inauguration of Adli Mansour Transportation Hub in Cairo. The president was accompanied by Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli as well as cabinet ministers. At the beginning of the event, President el-Sisi listened to a detailed report from Minister of Transportation Kamil al-Wazir on the Adli Mansour Central Station. Al-Wazir said that Adli Mansour Station is a complex of stations covering an area of 15 fedans. He added also that the station is the largest in the Middle East and Africa, and that the transportation hub comprises a metro, a train, an electric train, as well as buses. The transportation minister noted that the project was established by Egyptian companies and workers. Al-Wazir said that the station represents the end of the third metro line. He added also that Adli Mansour Transportation Hub is the starting point of the Cairo-Suez railway line. The station includes 7 transportation means, 4 of which are electric powered. The minister noted that the station comprises buses for all the Egyptian governorates. President el-Sisi later inspected the Adli Mansour Central Station and a number of trains. He boarded the light rail transit train, marking the launch of the project.
We're now delighted to be joined over the telephone by our guest, Dr. Youmn Hamaqy, Professor of Economics at Shams University. Dr. Youmn, a very good afternoon to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much for joining us. Doctor, let me start by asking you, how do you see the developments in the transportation sector in Egypt, as of course today President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi witnessed the inauguration of the Adli Mansour Transportation Hub in Cairo, which is a very important development in the transportation file in the country?
Yes, indeed, and I believe that nowadays when we have a new administrative city, in which we are going to have a business center as well as government bodies and entities and the parliament and the presidential, location. I think all these very important activities need a way of transportation. And from here it comes the importance of linking all parts of Egypt, specifically these strategic areas, like we are linking Cairo with 10th of Ramadan, with the new administrative city, and in between 2 important cities like Shuru. And I think all this mean a lot to developmental efforts in Egypt.
Indeed. Dr. Youmn, now let's talk a bit about the economic benefits from the developments in the transport sector, in your opinion, ma'am.
You know quite well that transportation can play a significant role, in all economic activities. Nowadays, we witness in Egypt, that when we built the 10th of Ramadan city, we neglected completely linking the 10th of Ramadan city with all parts of Egypt. And from here it comes the cost of transportation, either for labor or for, employee in this city, had reflected the very large cost for, economic activities there. So this is a very important way of, learning from this experience, to how extent it's from the beginning important to link these very important and strategic cities with, like when we are talking nowadays about this very advanced type of, transportation and green transportation, coping with sustainable development. I believe that this is a very important message to the whole world that Egypt nowadays is presenting itself with a new visionary approach towards a better development.
Indeed. Now, Dr. Youmn, these projects are also expected to affect, or impact population densities in the country on both the short and the long term. How important is this? Because the more accessible further areas are, the better it will be to, restructure the population densities, especially in the capital.
Yes, indeed, and this is a very important question. Why? Because this ways of transportation is going to encourage youth to go there into this, new administrative city, and I believe, and within that, the linkage with other cities, as I mentioned, is going to encourage economic activities. We are talking about small business. We are talking about different sectors like the service sector nowadays is information technology. Nowadays, Egypt has tried to enhance the capability of the economy to enlarge the potentialities of investment for different sectors and to diversify economic activities. And these ways of transportation are essential in order to encourage investors, either they are large or medium or small investors, to go there and to look for opportunities for them for starting their business.
Absolutely. Doctor, let me ask you, why do you think the first stage of the project inaugurated today was chosen, to serve Eastern Cairo?
Yes, and this part that are going to be linked by this inauguration, I believe, are essential and important for business and for all other activities. But still, we are looking forward for the extension of such, transportation, so that it could cover the majority of Egypt and enhance the potentiality of more investment, since mega projects have helped a lot to enlarge choices for not only being concentrated in the whole population economic activities in 6% of the surface of Egypt. Nowadays, we have the potentialities of, spreading the investment and using all resources existing in different governorates efficiently enough. And I believe that transportation can play a significant role towards achieving such goals.
Indeed. Now, the Adli Mansour transportation hub that was inaugurated today includes 7 transportation means, 4 of which are electric powered. How important do you see the shift from, the usual sources of energy to electric sources of energy and renewable sources of energy in the long run, Doctor?
I can see it is a very important step and strategic step towards achieving sustainable development, taking into consideration that Egypt is going to host COP27 this year. And, this is a very important message for the whole world, that Egypt is taking care of sustainable development and having strategies toward achieving such, goals and coping with all economic efforts, international economic efforts towards achieving such goal. The issue that I would like to concentrate on is completely an economic issue, which is to how extent Egypt can transfer technology and take into consideration the economic side, trying to reduce the cost of production for such ways of transportation, as well as the transfer of technology, coping with our scientific researches here in our university and scientific research centers, can play a significant role towards increasing the local content from one perspective, and from another to reduce the cost, so that we can be a hub for Africa for the production of green transportation vessels.
Absolutely. Today, of course, we saw President Sisi boarding the light railway transit train, marking the launch of this project, which is a very important project indeed in terms of efficiency and speed and a wide range of stations that will be covered by this transit train. How do you see this decision to establish the light railway transit train?
I believe that it is a strategic step towards Egypt taking, the most efficient and advanced ways of transportation to support our economic developmental efforts. These are quite important to prove to the whole world that we are on our way to achieve such economic development and sustainable development goals. And what we need, as I have just mentioned, is to concentrate on to how extent we can enlarge choices for Egyptian youth and generate more opportunities of job by exploiting and investing these ways of transportation for opening more opportunities of investment either for small business or large business.
Indeed. And let's talk a bit about the training for the human resources for these new transportation projects. Today we've seen a presentation by the Minister of Transportation who spoke about the work that has been put in and how workers in the Egyptian companies have been trained in order to operate the new machinery as well as the electric powered train. How do you see the human resources investment in this regard?
This is quite important because you cannot manage such advanced methods of transportation without training. And I believe from my experience working in such fields that Egyptians youth all over Egypt, they are eager actually to get such training and to upgrade the skills. And I believe that by taking into consideration the quality of training and international experts and experiences into consideration, this can be a significant step towards upgrading the skills of our workers and enable them to get more opportunities of job either in Egypt or in different countries of the world.
Absolutely. Finally, ma'am, one final question, if I may. How do you see the development in the different sectors, whether it's transportation or road networks or accesses all around the country, all geared towards a more sustainable development approach, as well as an encouragement to investment opportunities and investors to further branch out all around the country?
Actually, I see that we have spent a lot in transportation and in infrastructure, and I believe that we have to prioritize nowadays more investment on opportunities of jobs in different fields like the industrial sector, agriculture sector, and information technology, so that to invest such transportation and infrastructure projects, because we spend a lot of money, and due to that we are nowadays having the burden of internal and external debt. So it's time to reorganize and prioritize our priorities towards more investment in the real sectors of the economy, structural reform to concentrate on generating opportunities of job in the main sectors.
Absolutely. Right. I'd like to thank you very, very much, Dr. Youmn Hamaqy, Professor of Economics. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time and for joining us on our coverage here and our special edition on Now TV International. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Angie Meher. Thank you for joining us.